Serious topic, you guys. Is it ethical to profit off of the coronavirus? And how would you do so? So grab yourself a drink and let's get started.
I just want all of the money. Do you know what I said? I gotta get the dinero, the cash, and the bread. Money. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm down to do the do just as long as it's paying. Money.
First of all, let's try to address this question of ethics or morality and things like that. On our previous video, 2 subscribers had differing opinions on the morality of the situation. To be quite frank, neither of them are wrong in this spot. It's a matter of personal opinion. But at the same token, as a trader, you need to be reactive towards the markets, and the markets are reacting towards the coronavirus. Am I making adjustments to my trades? You can bet your bottom dollar I am. I do need to make some adjustments in my portfolio, in my trading, to deal with the fact that the coronavirus news is live, it's fresh, and it's out there, and it's affecting the markets, and therefore my money. Right now, I want to go into a couple of trades that were placed. The biggest one that actually rings a bell for me right now is Luckin Coffee, or LK. Luckin Coffee, especially this past Friday, had a huge sell-off. It was down 25%. They had to shut down many stores on the news of the outbreak of the coronavirus. And I actually took the opportunity to buy the dip. I know you guys are looking at me like I'm some crazy nut job, but truth be told, in moments like these, you gotta be like Goku right here. Goku is not scared of nothing. He's not scared of nobody. He's definitely not scared of the markets. Sometimes when the market is selling off on extreme fears, you gotta just step in there and buy a little bit. My risk tolerance was high, but I sheltered some of that by not buying so many shares. I already own 300 Luckin Coffee early from purchasing it earlier in the week at around 39, and if you guys saw it Friday, it was $27 at one point, so it had a dramatic sell-off throughout the day Friday. This is what's called getting owned. This is down quite a bit on coronavirus related stuff. Luckin Coffee, I guess it's the counterpart to Starbucks, the Chinese counterpart, and it is getting mauled today. Look at this, down 24.99%. I owned that earlier on in the week where I thought it was a fairly okay trade to buy it at like 30. Oh man, I bought it at 39. Jesus, I thought it was 35. Okay, 39. And then sell covered calls at 40 against that. I was like, okay, these will expire by the end. But yeah, this is what getting mauled looks like. I took another small piece of Luckin Coffee, immediately sold covered calls on that for 2 weeks out. Overall, I'm gonna make at least $500 from the 2 covered calls, and Luckin Coffee already bounced back up to like, I think 31 and change perhaps by the end of Friday. So already up on the second trade, even though I got beat down on the first trade. Just keep in mind, you guys, right now, these names are gonna be extremely volatile. A, Luckin Coffee IPO'd not too long back. B, it is a coffee provider in China with the news of coronavirus outbreak. And C, a whole bunch of funds in the US are going to be trading the name based on speculations of the coronavirus. They might decide, hey, this is too much risk in the portfolio. They might want to liquidate, which is what caused his huge variance. The one other thing I really want to point out about this is a lot of fund managers, they can't hold on to a name, not because they don't think it's a good name to own, but because their clients might be calling them up, be like, how dare you own Luckin Coffee during this time? I don't want any exposure to, to China or to the LK or whatever. So in a lot of ways, a lot of people who might even think Luckin Coffee is a good deal might be forced to liquidate in these situations. That's something you need to keep in mind. I'm not saying you go out and buy Luckin Coffee. Always do your own due diligence. It's something I took some exposure on. My second trade's overall working out for me so far. I'll keep you guys posted on how it finalizes. So I'm gonna take another 200 shares on this dip. Obviously, this is not for the lighthearted, but also at the same time, it's only costing $6 grand. I've done worse than that before. And I'm gonna sell another round of covered calls on this, and I'm going to pray that I don't get mauled again. But either way, I don't think the trade is that high risk. Like I said, it's a very, very high variance trade, but I don't think it's that high risk. I'm gonna go another week out and sell 2. And hopefully by then, this helps reduce my risk and protects me a little bit more on the downside. Didn't work out for me earlier, but yeah, let's pray now. If you take a look at this chart, so I'm getting pretty beat up today. I had one good trade today, but other than that, I'm getting pretty beat up.
I also want to quickly talk about WWE. That was another trade I did on Friday. It's not related to the coronavirus, I totally get all that, but it's kind of the same concept. Basically, news came out about Vince McMahon replacing his executives. The market may have lost a little bit of faith on Vince McMahon. And for that reason, the stock was down well over 24%. I thought it would be a very good buy on just the fact that the market had completely beaten down on this stock. And so I took a pretty large sizing on WWE. I bought 1,000 shares around 47 and change. I managed to make quite a bit of profit.
Okay, I'm buying WWE. Hopefully none of the wrestlers get coronavirus or anything like that. That would really suck, but it's down 24%.
The way you need to view coronavirus is kind of the same way. It's kind of the market reaction to news and how, you know, certain stocks are trading as a whole in regards to this news. So the coronavirus is heavily affecting some stocks, like Luckin Coffee being one of the big ones, who are actually forced to shut down many stores during this time. I'm doing kind of the same concept. WWE's down 25%, so I decided to buy into that dip. The next one I want to talk about is United Airlines, UAL, the ticker. I actually did not buy this on the Thinkorswim platform, having some brokerage issues, as I'm sure you're all aware. But I bought some United Airlines a little bit late on Friday. I think it's been getting unnecessarily beat up as of recently. This coronavirus is no exception. And I think it's not the worst time to take a small piece. The piece that I took was relatively small and nimble on Friday. I'm actually hoping to sell it Monday morning if the market has a little bit of a bounce back. If not, I don't have a problem buying a little bit more on the next dip. So that's another name I want you guys to keep a lookout for, United Airlines. And the other two names are Wynn and Las Vegas Sands that I'm kind of really focusing on timing and buying at a good price. With Wynn, I think it was as high as $151 a share as of recent. It's down well over $20 from that price point. And I think this coronavirus and a wide variety of other things are affecting Wynn stock, but coronavirus is going to heavily affect the gambling names like Wynn, Las Vegas Sands. And the reason for that is these casinos and their exposure to Macau. There's once again uncertainty about people wanting to vacation in Macau or tourism into Macau, while this coronavirus is widespread, especially with the airline lockdowns, potential travel bans between multiple countries into China, but potentially resulting in a buying opportunity for you on Wynn and Las Vegas Sands. Do your own due diligence, please. Don't forget. I think the other names like Alibaba really haven't had much of a sell-off, enough to really justify, hey, buy the dip or whatever. JD, kind of the same thing. My very last thing I want to talk to you guys about is when you're going out and potentially trading the coronavirus, it's very important to keep in mind that the overall market is actually running really hot right now, and so many technicians have been calling for a correction for a long time. So even if the market might sell off another 1-2%, just be a little bit on the cautious side about buying this dip. I did buy this dip a little bit on Friday with the overall market on the spider index. The market did drop a lot, and a lot of times they'll rebound the very following day. But right now there is a very reasonable risk of a correction, not because of the coronavirus, but you know, people have been calling for a correction for a few months now. This might be the opportunity that they seek to get to allow themselves to get some of their money off the table. They might think like, this is too much of a risky environment. I'm gonna remove some of my money, take some of my chips off the table, and look for a better spot to get my money back into the market. So be a little bit cautious about the overall market. I think this coronavirus is gonna get fought heavily by the CDC and all the major countries coming together and fighting this off. I don't really see this derailing economic growth, and any reaction in the short term by the market might be deemed a reasonable opportunity to carefully pick names and buy some stocks. So other than that, thank you all for joining. Drink your beers, stay safe, and keep trading.
Just want